what a mortgage is, how we can calculate a monthly payment once we have a mortgage. So first of all, definition of a mortgage isn't what you purchase your house for, but it's actually what you have to borrow from the bank to purchase a home. So a mortgage is a loan to purchase a property. And the property itself is collateral. And what that means is if you cannot pay your mortgage and you forfeit your home to pay for the loan to the bank. So the bank can foreclose on your home and take your home to pay the loan if you can't pay it. So how a loan or how a mortgage works is if you choose to purchase a home, you should have a percentage of the home as a down payment. And the rest of the cost of the house you have to borrow. So that's called your mortgage. The mortgage is repaid over many, many years in a lot of cases, and in a series of equal regular payments. Usually people make monthly payments, and for this reason, a mortgage is an annuity. So just like what we talked about last unit, a mortgage is just a huge annuity. And since large sums of money are involved, the time usually takes 5 to sometimes 30 years to pay back, depending how long you choose and how big your monthly payments are. When both the principal and interest on a mortgage are repaid with a series of equal regular payments, the mortgage is said to be amortized. And the length of time, the 5 to 20 or 5 to 30 years, is called the amortization period. So the length of time that you're going to take to pay back your mortgage is called the amortization period. And if we're going to take out a 25-year mortgage, the bank isn't going to give us a set percentage at that point because interest rates change often. And if you get your mortgage at a really low percent and 3 years later the percentage goes up, the bank doesn't want to lose that interest. And you personally don't want to sign for a longer period of time if the interest rates are high at the moment because you're hoping for a better percentage. But this means that your interest rate, so we can set a term for anywhere between 5 months to 5 years usually, and let's say 1 to 5 years. And this is, as I mentioned, called the term of the mortgage. So you could set your term for 5 years, then after 5 years, we calculate what's left owing on the home, and you renew your mortgage. Okay, so you have to either renew or renegotiate or you have to pay it in full. So unless you won the lottery in between there, probably not going to happen. And let me just reverse these. So we're going to pay in full up here, or we're going to renegotiate. And sorry, having a tough time spelling renegotiate. At the current rate of interest. So after 5 years, we now look at what's the best deal we can get percentage-wise, and we can renegotiate. Now, because we can have various terms on the mortgage, our monthly payment could change multiple times. So we could have different terms, and like I said, if you had a 5-year term each time, over 25 years you would have 5 different terms, 5 different monthly payments. But what you have to assume is that when you get a mortgage, that you're going to pay that over 25 years, then you look at it after 5 years. You renegotiate, assuming you're going to make that payment over 20 years. After another 5 years, you renegotiate. So, taking a look at an example here. Terry purchased a home for $345,000, made a down payment of 25% of the purchase price, and going to finance the rest or get a mortgage for the rest. The mortgage will be repaid with equal monthly payments over 25 years at 8% compounded monthly. So first of all, figuring out how much was Terry's mortgage. Well, Terry, if he made a down payment of 25%, that means he paid 25% of the $345,000 up front. Well, that means that he had to borrow 75%. So in order to determine what his mortgage is, we're going to figure out what $345,000, what 75% of that is. When we multiply by 0.75, we get $258,750. So we know that Terry's mortgage is $258,750. Now, to figure out his monthly payment, this is where our graphing calculator is going to come in, or our TVM solver. And you'll notice that at the top of this unit, I have put a link to the TVM solver that I found online, which works exactly like our graphing calculators have been working for us as well. So for an annuity, we know that N is going to be the number of years times the number of payments per year. Our I is 8% at this case. Present value is our $258,750. And notice that that's put in as a positive because we are receiving that amount as our home. Our payment is what we need to figure out. Our future value at the end of our 25 years, there's nothing owing. We're not paying anything, so our future value is 0. Compounding periods per year, interest is calculated 12 times a year, and payments per year, we're also making a monthly payment of whatever we figure out here, so 12 as well. So going back to TVM Solver and calculating our payment, which comes out as a negative number because we're going to pay this amount every month. So $1,997.07 is going to be Terry's mortgage payment. So Terry's monthly payment is $1,997.07. Now, the total paid over the 25 years. Well, if Terry's going to pay $1,997.07, we know then that he's going to make 300 payments over the 25 years, or 12 times 25. So multiplying those numbers together, we get $599,121. So total paid is, using dollar signs, $599,121. Now, interest paid. Remember we talked about interest is the difference between what we borrowed and what we pay. So the total amount that we pay minus the principal. So our total paid over that period of time was $599,171. And the actual amount that he borrowed was our $258,750. So the interest paid over that time is $340,370. So you can see that the interest paid on mortgages can be huge, which is why it's such a big business for the bank, and why you'll probably hear a lot of advertisements about mortgage percentages, people offering this and that. You definitely want to shop around and get your best percentage that you can. Even half a percentage is going to make a big difference in interest paid over 25 years. So total interest paid is $340,370. Now, part E, what percentage of the total amount paid is interest? Well, we take our interest, which is $340,370. What percent of the total amount paid? So we're going to divide by our $599,171, and we get that number. We're going to multiply by 100 to get a percentage. So you can see that 57% of everything that Terry pays all goes towards interest. So this goes straight to the bank to pay off the loan or the mortgage that Terry has taken out. Now, suppose that, and this is where the tricky part comes in, so Terry's initial mortgage had a term of 5 years, which means after 5 years, he needs to renegotiate his mortgage, and he's going to renew for another 5-year term at 6% compounded monthly. So we already have our initial payment from our first calculation or our first mortgage. We know that he pays $1997.07. Well, what we need to do after the 5 years is figure out what he still owes on that mortgage. So there's 20 years worth of payments that he is now not going to make. So we're going to use our graphing calculators to figure out what is the present value of those payments right now. And that's what's still owing. So the last 20 years of payments, 20 times 12, we're sticking with our 8% interest right now because we're calculating the present value or what's still owing. And so present value is what we need to figure out. We're leaving our payment of $1,997.07. Future value is still 0. We're leaving our compounding periods per year and our payments per year the same. As I said, the only thing we're changing here is right now the number, and we're going to calculate the present value so that we know what Terry still owes. So going up to present value and figuring out what we have. Well, Terry still owes $238,758.82. So Terry still owes $238,758.82 after 5 years. So you'll notice that not a whole lot of the principal is paid off to start with, but as you pay off some of that principal, the interest owing gets a little bit less, and by the end of the 25 years, the interest that you're going to pay gets smaller and smaller. So now that we know what Terry is renegotiating his mortgage for, we can now figure out our new monthly payment. And we're going to have 20 years worth of payments. Our interest rate is now 6%. Our present value, or the amount of the mortgage renegotiated, is our $238,000 and change. We want to figure out our payment. Future value still stays 0, and we're still going to make monthly payments, and interest is going to be calculated monthly as well. So going back up to our payment, and now Terry's payment is $1,710.54. So the new payment is $1,710.54. So notice that is that's about $280 less a month than it was at 8%. So you can see what a difference that interest can make. That interest rate going from 8 to 6% is $287 a month. If you calculate that over 20 years, that is a huge amount. So very, very important to get the lowest interest rate that you can on any mortgage. Okay, so that is sort of an introduction to mortgages, how we can calculate that, and you have some questions to practice on the website. Okay, take care, and as always, don't forget, I am available via email, and I'll answer you as soon as I can.